Hello, my fellow Alaskans. Thank you all for joining us here today. We are live at the Nesbett Courthouse, where our democracy is on the line. Today, we're about ready to hear a case that involves whether or not that the elections matter or not. Currently, we have a lawsuit that is being brought against a certain candidate that is running here in Alaska. Everything is in the description up above about what this case is about. But basically, they want to say that the judges will have the final say over our elected ballots and our voices and votes at the voting. Hopefully going on and be able to keep this stream at least holding solid throughout the entire event. If not, I will definitely restream a broadcast of this uploaded here a little bit later on to make sure that we are all on the same page. So please like and share this video if you haven't done it yet. The internet here is extremely slow. I'm trying to just get up my all right, I am in the room and I'm showing barely any connection on this live feed, so hopefully you guys will all be able to get to see this seamlessly. I doubt it though. I will probably end up having to upload a Okay, let's make sure the microphone is working here. Alright, got rid of the static noise. I dropped off of their internal Wi-Fi and gone to my external Wi-Fi. It's got a much better connection. She should be able to keep a solid stream now. Don't forget to like and share this video. All Alaskans need to hear what is going on with our court system and how it has been weaponized against everybody out there. Thank you all for being here today. Please like and share.
Sir, in the back with the camera.
This is our declaration.
Sir, the back
We declare
with the camera.
too late to accomplish everything
Sir?
God has placed in our
Hi,
lives.
are you with an
We would not
agency?
miss my
What's that?
Are you with an agency?
I am.
Okay, and,
I represent Politidic.
God has
okay,
moments
did
of
you
favor
fill out a
in our
media
future
request
that He
form?
has prepared
I
for us
put in my
now.
request and I have not heard anything back.
Okay.
That's a great help.
Could you spell that agency for me?
P-O-L-I-T-A-D-I-C-K.
This is our moment, and this is our declaration. We declare
I'm an
that we are
alternative
grateful
media
for
for
who God
Alaska.
is in our life and for what He's and He will not take for granted the people, the opportunities, and the favor He blessed us with. We will look at what is right
Thank
and
you.
not what is wrong. We will,
And your personal name?
Bert.
oh, sorry, I don't know.
Your last name?
It's Chowder. See a faith over our life. We declare that we will store up blessings for future generations. Our life is marked by excellence and integrity.
Okay, if you have not liked and shared this video, it is your chance to do it right now. It will be beginning here real shortly. The room has a pretty good sized crowd in here. Again, please like and share this video. Our democracy in our state of Alaska, our fair and free elections are on the ballot today, are on this particular case. If it happens here, it'll happen anywhere.
God has solutions to every problem. We will ever face already lined up. The right people and the right breaks are in our future. We will fulfill our destiny. This is our declaration. This way? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody comfy? Got it? We declare Ephesians 3:30 over our life. God will do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, because we honor Him. His blessings will chase down and overtake us. We will be in the right place at the right time. People will go out of their way to be good to us. We are surrounded by God's favor. This is our declaration.
It's just a guy that has a busy guy that has a tow truck.
Well, it's sort of that's how, see, I'm doing the decreasing job, it's just doing this work.
I don't know, it's no problem. John knows me.
You've been there
You know, the knitters were the first combers.
at least 20 years.
Here we go. Look up. Job. City.
What's your problem? Downstairs. It's in
In Wasilla. Oh, okay. Nice.
Forgive me, are you looking for women's law? Double set of doors there, and one of the left is for no, it's
Thanks for being here. Oh, you got my friend Greg Gilliam here. Like your t-shirt. It's a good one, isn't it? Haven't seen those advertised. Two is a little bit tied on me. You know, Vance is gonna have, it's not Florida. Boy, it is. Boy.
Rod Perry. Yeah, nice to meet you too. Okay, Laura. Yeah.
Sir, on the back of the camera, could I get you, I'll need you to fill out this form.
She went to the bathroom.
And they need to go.
Oh, then we need to go out.
Everything else
So I'll just need you.
Do you need one of those?
I got my shirt.
Okay.
Some signs outside.
Sitting at council
Okay.
table. Hi. Can I get your name? David. Thank you.
I left mine out of the car.
A lot of good it's going to do. Start late as usual. The judge ought to be here. Start things regardless of whether the plaintiff's here. You think so? I mean, that's the way it is. Criminal court. Yep. Not that I spent a lot of time in criminal court.
I think it's so cool, because I watch them when they're, and then I like how they for it.
Watch the one here, Jerry Ward and Martin said they'd be here, but they're down with Sarah Palin down on the pantry.
Okay, if you haven't liked and share, why not? Like and share this video. Let's keep our Alaskan neighbors informed of what is going on with our election process in the state.
Where'd you get that?
My friend gave it to me, but he attended the Saturday training, General Flynn's training.
Oh, okay. Those are
Some
awesome.
other folks here attended too. Yeah, he got there.
Elections going on.
Is that where you got yours? Yeah, Brian. Yeah. Did you go to the General Flynn training out there?
Slick against Assembly members.
It's 666. Have you ever made a Paris? Is that what that is? Circular? Like when you pour needles in them, like I don't know how to knit, but my mom knits. So I see people making socks. I'm like, ooh, gee, my whole brain just goes, I don't know how you do that. Oh, do you? Oh, really? And so I just, I don't mind. It's circular branch.
You're meeting a bunch
I guess they can do better than us. But that's like, these are, it's a new production machine. The patent goes back.
Released a dozen nails.
It's not the hate. It's not the
Thank you all for joining us here today. It is greatly appreciated. Court is about to begin.
Thank you, please be seated, everyone. All right, good afternoon, everybody. We are on record in Kowalski versus Eastman, 3AN 227404CI. This is time set for a scheduling hearing requested by the parties. We have Mr. Dedukian on the phone representing the plaintiff. Mr. Dedukian, can you hear me?
Okay.
But I will be here when.
Mr. Dedukian, are you able to hear me?
I can. There's some background conversation that I'm hearing too, and I'm not sure where it's coming from.
All right, understood. Thank you. If there's anyone else on the line, if you're not speaking, please go ahead and mute your line just so that we make sure that we get a clear record of everything that's being said. Thank you. We also have Mr. Miller on the phone representing Mr. Eastman. Mr. Miller, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Judge. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. We have Mr. Eastman here in court. Again, is there anyone on the line that's got an open mic?
Yeah, there's, I'm gonna work on some of the band.
Also representing the Division of Elections, we have Thomas Flynn and Lael Harrison. Mr. Flynn, can you hear me?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Ms. Harrison, are you there?
I'm all there. I'm also hearing background noise. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was wondering, can you do that now, or would that be the way of roofing this?
Again, it would be helpful if there's anyone on the line that I have not addressed yet and you have an open mic, please go ahead and mute it. It just makes it very hard to hear the parties and we'll have a hard time conducting the court's business.
Yeah, I can get some of those.
Is there anyone else on the line who I have not addressed yet?
Well, like I said, right now, he said he can help Monday and Tuesday, but I told him I don't want him to work.
It's their Dukian's a problem.
That way there's no pressure and basically, they've been talking about.
All right, so unfortunately I'm not getting through to whoever's got an open line. As I stated, this scheduling conference was requested by the parties to address the number of trial days that were issued. Mr. Dedukian, I'll start with you. Is there a request to the parties?
Sorry, it's very hard to hear you. I want to keep the folks back who are participating in the call. If we could end the call and then folks call back in. Oh, it looks like maybe we just lost the person who had the background noise.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please, really couldn't hear you at all, so go ahead.
Understood. So, Mr. Dedukian, is there a proposal from the parties?
Your Honor, I don't think that we have a proposal at this time. I conferred with Mr. Miller last week, and we were talking about the expected length of trial. And that was before we had filed a motion to strike the jury trial demand, which also affects, I guess, how much time we're going to need. But we're prepared to put on our case within the time allotted. I think our case, plaintiff's case, will take about 8 to 10 hours of time. The state has said that they are going to need about half a day of time, and we're also working on stipulations that might reduce that amount of time that would be needed. So the concern comes from the fact that Mr. Eastman has filed a witness list with, I believe, 45 people on it, and if Representative Eastman is planning on calling all 45 people, then obviously, we're going to need a lot more time, and I think the intent would be pretty clear to delay or extend the trial long enough that it would be hard for the court to grant effective relief. On the other hand, if Representative Eastman is not planning on calling all those people, then I think the witness list doesn't comply with the Uniform Pretrial Order, which, like in paragraph B3A, requires a party to list only the witnesses it actually intends to call. So I guess our request would be for the court to set firm time limits on how much time each party is going to have to put on its case, and to hold the parties to that. And I think by doing that, it will leave the court enough time to issue a decision and leave the parties options to appeal if necessary and things like that. And I guess the last point I'd make is that to the extent we're going to have tight timelines, if the court can let us go past 1:30 on some or all of the days of trial, I think that might create a little bit more time that would allow us to finish the case in 1 week.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dukin. Mr. Miller, turning to you, I did note the parties' preliminary witness list had been filed. Do you have a response to Mr. Dedukian's point?
Yeah, so, Judge, this hearing was largely at my request because our presentation is largely factual. It looks like Mr. Kowalski's case is going to be primarily focused with the two experts that he's calling. So his is going to take the form more of summary expert opinion if the court allows it, and ours is going to be responsive primarily with factual presentations, which I think is necessary. I mean, the overarching question about whether or not the Oath Keepers is an organization which advocates by force or violence the overthrow of the government of the United States or the state of Alaska is really the core question for the court. And that splits out into two separate issues, as I can see it at this point, and that is, what happened, kind of a subset of what happened on January 6th, and, was there advocacy then by force or violence by the organization, or on the other hand, did the organization actually act to support law enforcement in many respects? And then it's kind of an overarching question is, outside of January 6th, does this organization advocate in a way that would put Representative Eastman in violation of the loyalty clause? There's also the question of membership and whether there's active membership. And all these are factually intensive questions that we intend to put on witnesses concerning. And in looking at our list, Your Honor can probably divine that we're going to need more than the remaining 2 days that would be allocated with the amount of time that Mr. Kowalski and the state believe that they need for their case. I mean, a typical trial day is 5 hours, and it looks like we're probably going to get 4.5 of those days with the schedule the court has. Now, on the other hand, obviously, it's Representative Eastman's sincere intent to have this resolved quickly, because the longer this thing languishes, the more damage there is to his constituents. And in other words, assuming that he wins re-election here in a couple of weeks, the longer that this is held and sort of with the court's order on the preliminary injunction, as long as certification is held, there's adverse impact to his constituents and that he can't be preparing his office, working for committee assignments, and doing other things necessary to ensure that his constituents receive the most benefit from his representation as possible.
Sure, Mr. Miller, so how long, given the witnesses that you intend to call, and it's hard for me from just a bare list to tell you whether they're relevant or not. That's not in front of me, but recognize I gave you both 2.5 days with sort of in a vacuum, and so if you need more time, what's your request for the amount of time you need to present your defense?
Your Honor, I mean, I certainly think that Representative Eastman's witnesses could take the entirety of a week, and that's what I discussed with defendants' counsel or with plaintiffs' counsel, that this is likely going to be a case that's going to require 2 weeks of time if, in fact, the state and Mr. Kowalski are going to take half the time on the week that's allocated, or actually more than half the time. And as you know, Your Honor, I mean, this is a case that is on an extremely shortened time frame that falls way outside of the scope of the standard pretrial order, what was anticipated by the presiding judge when that issued. So, I mean, as this case develops and we become aware of more information, obviously, it changes things. Certainly, my perspective today is way different than when this trial was set a couple of weeks ago. And so I think a reasonable amount of time for Representative Eastman to put on his fact witnesses and the few experts that he has will probably take the lion's share of a full week.
And so, Mr. Miller, are you assuming essentially sort of the Anchorage trial days of 8:30 to 1:30 or a full 9 to 5?
Well, Your Honor, I mean, my preference would be to extend the trial date if you would be willing to do so. The hours, the standard hours. But yes, I'm assuming in making those statements that we're working off of a 5-hour per day clock, except for Friday being a half day.
Okay, so I haven't yet. So, Mr. Miller, that's helpful information. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the the good faith attempt to to give me an outset, or at least an estimate of how long your case is going to take. At this point, it would just be helpful for me. I heard from Mr. Dedukian how long the state intended to present witnesses if it was going to, but I'd like to just turn to Mr. Flynn or Ms. Harrison. Is that an accurate statement of how much time the state's going to need?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, Mr. Dupree was accurate when he said we're hoping that we will be able to stipulate to all of the relevant facts on the plaintiff's claim against the division, in which case the division would not need to put on evidence at the trial, and that, and that time to be allocated between the other parties. But since we don't have that stipulation in place, I do need to reserve, a couple of hours to put on the witness the documentary evidence and the testimony from the Division of Elections.
All right, understood. That's helpful. Thank you. So I appreciate both counsel being proactive in bringing this matter before the court. It's helpful to get this out of the way early. I did anticipate that it would be likely that we might need more time in the case, and so I'm going to grant Mr. Miller's request for some additional time here. I've already cleared out. So we currently have the trial week scheduled for December 12th. I'll extend that trial until the 20th. My hope is to get it done by that time, so there's sufficient time to get work done in the rest of that week. But I will block off some time on the 21st as an overflow, but my sincere hope is that the parties can get through everything working quickly on the 20th so we can get the court's business done. I also, I think both counsels, or all three counsels' suggestion that we do full trial days is also well taken. I've cleared out the afternoons, and so, essentially we're going to do full trial days 8:30 to 4:30, and so we should be able to move quickly through the case, giving you all the time that you need, hopefully, to get through the case, recognizing also that, we do need to move quickly. It's for all the reasons that were stated in the preliminary injunction decision. All the parties are benefited by a quick decision in this case after everyone has a chance to put on a full and fair case. So I'll extend trial out until the 20th with the timelines that I've been given here, with the plaintiff's case to take roughly about 10 hours, the state given about a half trial day, and then the remainder of the time allocated to the defense if they want to call more witnesses. We can obviously be a little bit flexible with that. Other issues that are still pending, we still do have the motion to change venue. However, I have confirmed with the Palmer Courthouse that regardless of whether we have the trial here in Anchorage or out in Palmer, we'll have a courtroom available to us out of an abundance of caution. So wherever the case is being held, we are good to go with the courtroom and should be able to go through on those dates. To that end, on the motion to change venue, I had asked for additional briefing from the parties once witness lists were exchanged. Have the parties discussed when they're going to be able to make their additional filings on that?
Judge, there have been some additional days circulated between the parties. We're kind of waiting on the court to make its decision on this informal request to extend the trial, so we will confer hopefully this afternoon or tomorrow if defendant's counsel is available. I think we're close to a decision on those dates, and then we can get the rest of the briefing into you on the venue motion.
All right, thank you. That'd be helpful. I just wanted to make sure I hadn't missed it, but it's good to know it's on everyone's radar. Are there other issues that we need to address in today's hearing?
Sorry, go ahead.
This is Leah Harrison, the Division of Elections. I would just like to at least request or ask if it's possible to add those additional trial days on the front end of the trial instead of on the back end of the trial. I think, as you know, the Division of Elections is already concerned about the really tight timeline in this case. And, particularly if there's a jury that has to deliberate, or even if it's a bench trial, if Your Honor needs to take some time after the completion of the evidence to issue a ruling, the farther that it gets pushed out, the more nervous we get. So I at least wanted to raise the question and explore the possibility of adding those 2 days on the week before instead of the week after.
Mr. Dedukian?
That's the first I'm hearing of that. I think in principle, I don't have a strong objection to it. I am also concerned about the fact that we're going to have very tight timelines before the trial to do a lot of things, and I want to make sure that the parties, have enough time to do all that. So, if the court does the court even have availability to start before the 12th, like the prior week?
Maybe the best way to address this, I will commit, if the parties agree to move the trial up a week, I'll make it happen. We can move things around. This is a matter of public importance, and, while all cases are important in front of the court, this is something that has certainly a time and matter, and so we will figure it out. But that said, I would want the parties to discuss that, and it would essentially have to be agreed to. Mr. Miller, when I brought up the time frame, stated that he needed until the 12th to mount his defense. That seemed well considered, but if all parties are in agreement to moving the case up a week, I can make it happen. So I'll just keep an eye out for the parties if there is a stipulation to change the dates. But otherwise, I can't address it in an argument today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so any other issues that we need to address?
No, I don't think so at this time, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Miller?
Nothing from Representative Eastman, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. The next hearing, at least that we have scheduled, is another pretrial conference for November 17th. Trial week remains at least currently set for December 12th. I've granted additional days for the trial, so the parties will have time to present their cases, and we will be having full trial days, regardless of whether the case is here or in Palmer. And I will be keeping an eye out for the additional filing on the motion to change venue. With that, thank you very much, everyone, for your time today. We can stand in recess. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you all for being here today. Please, again, don't forget to like and share this video if you're just joining us right now. This is just a pretrial hearing, setting up dates and times for them to be able to do what they need to do. And I'm just going to go ahead and step right on out of the front door here, but I'm going to keep this stream going. And you guys all heard it live here. Democracy is on the line. And we need to work hard to make sure that things are on the above board and we have fair and free elections. And this case right here is taking that right away from all of us Alaskans as they utilize this case as the way to remove sitting politicians, or soon to be maybe a sitting politician again, from office, removing the votes and voices of the constituents that they represent, legislating who will be serving by bench, not by ballot. So if you're just joining us again, please like and share. I'm going to see if I can possibly get an interview here with Eastman or someone that was with the for the better elections. Ballot. Vote by ballot, not by bench. Yes, turn off the other microphone here, keep the background noise down a little bit. And you can see the enormous turnout that has shown up here in the crowd that is here today. It is absolutely amazing how many people showed up for this today to show their support for David Eastman and his case. These people are all here for making sure our elections stay fair and free, and it is greatly appreciated that you are all here and able to join us here today. And again, if you haven't liked and shared, please do that right now. Also, help us grow our Rumble page. Go to rumble.com Politidic and subscribe to us there. We're about 70 some more followers to go, and we can start live streaming to them. Currently, you can find this broadcast live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook at Politidic and Politidic Unfiltered. And while we're live, also at our website at politidic.com. And you can, while you're there, please go and click on that support button at politidic.com. All proceeds go right back into covering the enormous costs and expenses of being able to make it to events like this one. And I'm going to go and see. And there's the man of the hour right there. And let me see if I can get him on camera here for just a second. Again, if you're just joining us, please again like and share this video. It is greatly appreciated. I will see if I can snag him away here in just a second and get a few words about what is going on and where the case now goes next in this trial. Hello, David. Would you like to say a few words to the audience out there about what's going on and where you stand out with this case?
Yeah, you bet. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Picks up even down here.
Oh, good. Well, we're done with the third hearing in the case now. There's going to be another one in November, which is going to be after the election, of course. And I don't know, I guess we might have another one that could get picked up between now and then, but we're not expecting any more public hearings. There's going to be a lot of different deadlines for things that each of the parties have to submit to the court. So it's unfortunate that this is all taking place during an election campaign, of course, but there's a lot more work to be done just to get the facts before the court between now and the election. So that's where I'll be spending a lot of my time. And then, of course, we've got another candidate forum tonight, so I'll be making it out to that at the Matsu College as well. But pretty important case, I think. This is a turning point where those who might like to say they believe in elections and trusting the will of the voters are arguing in court the exact opposite. They're arguing that the voters should not be trusted to make some decisions, that in my district's case, they've elected the wrong kind of legislator 3 times in a row and now should have that discretion taken away from them and given to a judge. I don't necessarily fault the judge for the fact they filed the case, but I think that there's a lot of danger and a lot of damage being done just by virtue of the case going forward right now. Thank you.
Just 1 second before you go, you said something about the candidate debate that's going on at the Matsu College. What time would that be, and can people participate?
Let's see, make sure I'm not giving you any bad information here.
15 minutes or so, 20 minutes.
So it's going to be at 7 o'clock, and it's probably going to be in the large auditorium at the Matsu College. There's a bunch of seats, so I suspect there's probably room for people to come and watch.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and good luck with your case, and I hope to be here at your next date that you are required to be here, and hopefully I became official press by their eyes after filling out their paperwork today.
All right. Very good. Always glad to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. All righty, folks. Thank you again once again for being here today. If you haven't liked and shared this video, please do. You can see the enormous amount of support that David has here in the room. People that have shown up from all over the state to be here to help show that they stand in solidarity with the corruption that is on full display with our court system, deciding who is allowed to be elected and not elected within our state, ignoring the voices and vote. As you heard, the next trial date or the next date for this particular case isn't until the 17th of December. And that's just when they're going to, and 17th of December, I got to emphasize that there. This is well after the elections have been finalized, decided, but in David Eastman's case, his election won't be over because the judge has put a stay on the results for his election. And if he wins that race, they won't declare him the winner until after this court case is over with. And this will be just prior to them even going to Juneau. And so all of you folks out there that I know are going to be voting for David Eastman in this election, we saw the primaries and he had an overwhelming support of his community for being reelected to go back to Juneau. And it's just disenfranchisement of Alaskans when people can claim that don't even live in his district can file lawsuits to have someone removed just because you belong to a organization that caused some controversy. And it's really, really just despicable that if you don't kowtow to their agenda, they will attack you every chance they get, and this is prime example of that. So take a moment, like, share this video, greatly appreciate it. I will be streaming hopefully at all the next hearings that are going on for this now that I believe I've been pre-approved and finalized for being able to be the press in the room. And I will make sure that I'm able to live stream all of these to all of you. Again, go to our rumble.com/Politidic and like and subscribe and follow us there. If we can get ourselves up to 100 people on Rumble, we can start live streaming to there too. Today's broadcast can be found on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook at Politidic and Politidic Unfiltered. And while we're live, also on our website at politidic.com. And go to politidic.com. Please click that support button. All proceeds go right back into making sure we can do a lot more videos like this one. Thank you all for being here today. I will have yourself a great afternoon. It is snowing outside here in Anchorage, and I got a long drive to get back out to the valley. We'll see you later. A possibility I'll be at that candidate debate at the Mat-Su College tonight. Thank you so much, and have a great day.